guys, I know it seems like filler, but it's not. Watch DJ Academic's face. Watch how uncomfortable he gets. He just airdropped that video to himself. He is nervous. Okay, so pay attention to his facial expression, and then pay attention to the sound that's about to come on screen, and look at DJ Academic react. So he's watching the video right now, nervous as F, touching his face, deeply concerned. And while, because he's on stream, it's playing, you start to hear the sound.
Fire! What am I in Congress? See? Laughter is the best medicine.
Please, sir, I'm in so much pain.
Shut up and listen to my material. What's this? Bedpan? Peter Pan.
Peter has long been used as a slang term for a penis. Peter Parker takes on new meaning now, doesn't it? Pan is a word for an ancient god of nature. He was the original model for the Pied Piper, luring away children into the forest to be his sacrifices. We use the word pan today as in terms like Pan-African, or as in the pan knob used on a studio mixer to mean all or many. In ancient times, the god or goddess was seen by people as their all. Even in cookware, the right-sized pan can be used to cook or contain everything at once. The first use of the term Peter Pan came from hospital bedpans, which male patients used to relieve themselves in, hence the name Peter Pan, or a pan for your Peter, so to speak. This points back to early hospitals being involved with the abuse of young boys who found themselves admitted as patients in these horrifically negligent institutions. Getting a boy to use the Peter Pan was a subtle and twisted invitation for him to unzip his pants.
Oh, next stop is Neverland. Come, Wendy, fly with me.
Meanwhile, Michael is protesting. I don't know, man. It was strange enough when Michael was the best man at Liza's wedding. That, for me, it was like, you're pushing the term, my man. That was a pretty short list. Who, was Richard Simmons hunting? What happened? What were you doing? I'm the best man. But now, Michael is claiming racism. I'm going, honey, you gotta pick a race first. Hey, man! What are you claiming? Mistreatment of else? What are you saying? Girl, you gotta pick a gender too. What are you going for? Oh, you were Diana Ross? Now you just left it all behind. Was it you who said, "Jew me, sue me, kite me, kick me, woo"? No, too late, babe. And Michael, you're not a freak. You're just, well, surgically enhanced. And you spent more money than the Vatican, so let's not talk. If you go to Neverland, it says you must be this high to ride Michael. Obviously, people in the lawyers for HBO are going, fuck!
Mork from Ork, that beloved character from the 70s and 80s sitcom, Mork and Mindy, must have studied the writings of Aleister Crowley. Well, the likelihood is that either the writers of the sitcom, Robin himself, or both, were students of occultist and Freemason, Aleister Crowley. Crowley challenged his students to not only walk backwards and talk backwards, but to also find every way they possibly could to do things backwards. So of course, backwards dressing Chris Cross, and backwards walking Michael Jackson would have had a song together. Wink. Backwards walking Michael has more than this in common with backwards sitting Robin, as we will soon see. But the hermetic inversion symbolism found throughout the sitcom Mork and Mindy is nothing short of staggering. Robin appeared to be a clean-cut family man, but his former prior show castmates have exposed his heavy cocaine use, and his struggles with sexuality are all but evident in his demeanor. Straight men just do not move and speak certain ways, even in jest, and during Robin's heyday the torment of living a double life because of compromising one's sexuality was especially dangerous with the added fear of the AIDS scare, which came right on the heels of the 1960s and 70s false advertisement for free love, sex, drugs and rock and roll. The rainbow suspenders are only a dead giveaway today. In those days, the image crafted for Robin, which happens to be a unisex or duality name, was the safe image of a quirky, childlike man with boyish innocence and charm. Nowadays, we consider him to have been a tormented man, overrun by secrets and a rapidly growing irrelevance. A man who suffered silently with severe mental health issues. The symbol of the triangle as a symbol for gender is universally known and understood. Pointing up, to symbolize the male parts for obvious reasons. And pointed downward, in the V shape, to represent the female reproductive area. Mork wears the pyramid pointed down on his trademarked space costume. The show is set in Boulder, Colorado, where Mork, an alien explorer from the planet Ork, has landed in a spaceship that's shaped like an egg. Ladies and gents, need I remind you of the story of the Queen Mother Goddess, Inanna, Ishtar, reportedly coming to Earth in a space egg, which is the origin for the pagan Catholic Easter or Ishtar bunny story. It does not end there. Eventually, as sweet and fruitacious as Mork is, he and Mindy finally get together to the fans' delight, and they marry. Soon after we learn that Mork is actually the one who gets pregnant in his, quote-unquote, world, and as he breaks the news to Mindy, Mork goes into labor, and seconds later lays an egg through his stomach, developing a navel in the process. Guest star comedian Jonathan Winters, a man visibly much older than Mork and Mindy, plays the newborn, because in keeping with the backwards or hermetically inverted themes, the people from Ork age backwards. Square business, guys. Can't make this up. Unless of course you have some good advice from old Aleister to inspire you. More mind control space and fantasy programming. It was the only reason that I watched the show as a little chubster. I was enamored with the idea of aliens and space travel and therefore consumed everything that pop culture wanted to program me with at that age. When I was a child, I spoke and thought as one. When I became a man, I put away childish things. Mork, Robin and for that matter Michael all suffer from arrested development, with the former and the latter ending their lives in tragedy, or secretly living with the shame of the programming they both received and dealt out over the years as a result of their involvement.
Robin, I think, is Peter Pan. Robin, I think, is Peter Pan.
No, I am Peter Pan. No, I am Peter Pan.
Peter Pan. Why is Peter Pan a figure of such interest and inspiration to you?
Because Peter Pan, to me, represents something that's very special in my heart. You know, he represents youth, childhood, never growing up, magic, flying, everything I think that children and wonderment and magic, what it's all about. And to me, I just have never, ever grown out of loving that or thinking that is very special.
Do you identify with him?
Totally.
You don't want to grow up?
No, I am Peter Pan.
Are you not your Michael Jackson?
I'm Peter Pan in my heart.
From Thanks for the Memories, The Truth Has Set Me Free by Bryce Taylor. Chapter 21. The Hollywood Connection. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson was just a little boy of 4 or 5 when I accompanied Bob Hope to a place where they were filming up-and-coming talent for television. Bob told me he supported and sponsored the Jacksons, getting them a professional foot in the door. Their father brought the boys in, and I remembered seeing them taken into a side room where bright lights were on. They all had to drop their pants, and before their performance, a big man raped each one of them in a lineup. Then they were taken to a different room and dressed in little suits and sent onto the stage to perform. Due to the mind control I was under, I'm not sure exactly where we were, but feel that it was the early days of the Ed Sullivan Show. I watched as Bob, dressed in a gray pinstripe suit and bow tie, with white shoes, shook hands with Ed, and then the Jackson boys went on. They were made into a sensation and famous on purpose, so that they could be used in the future to influence large audiences. Bob and his connections knew that all they needed was some talent, makeup, costumes, lights, glitter, and lots of publicity. He said publicity was the most important ingredient. I was just a teenager, and Bob said that he wanted me to be present so I could learn the ropes to being a starlet. He wanted me to see how it was done and feel comfortable around the stage. I think he just said that as a cover to other people to hide the real reason I was with him for his and others' sexual pleasure. Bob explained to me how important clothes are to one with a public image to uphold. I had on a short, small, tight-fitting, low-cut, yellow, chic dress. I did as I was told and wore it along with the gold high heels I was provided. Bob was often the connection for new entertainment. The council used his connections for their own interest and got key entertainers in place for future use. Many were robots like me. I saw many of them get hurt. I never saw Bob get hurt, though. The Jacksons were hurt. I was witness to their abuse. That first time when they performed, Bob got them onto the show, and then we left in the limo and watched from the television inside. He told the driver to drive around until the show was over. Then Bob told me, "See how easy it is to be a star."
I want you so I'm ready to go. Through the fire, to the limit, to the wall. For a chance to be with you, I'd gladly risk it all. Through the wire, to the limit, through the fire, through the fire, through the fire, to the limit, through the fire, to the fire. To the limit, to the fire, whatever, to the limit, to the fire, through it, ever through the fire, to the limit, through the fire, through whatever.
A lot of people want to blame the music business. A lot of people want to blame everyone. What do you think?
Well, it's all of the above and a whole lot more, but it boils down to you. I was introduced to certain people and to certain opportunities to use recreational drugs, and it boils down to whether I want to do it or not. And she was a strong-willed, strong-minded girl. And I can't say that's anybody's fault, but
would she have gone down that route, do you think, without Bobby Brown in her life?
Well, if it would not hit somebody else. If she wants to get high. If you want to get high, you're going to get high.
And do you think she had that tendency anyway?
I think that we all, as artists, because we're highly sensitive people, and this machine around us, this so-called music industry, is such a demonic thing. It sacrifices people's lives and their essences at the drop of a dime.
All my heart and my soul, in my writing. But at the end of the day, I am being guided by some other power. I don't know what it is.
And closed doors, a lot of six God worshiping. Yeah. We got London on the track. This is all God's doing, man, you can't plan it. But if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic. Devil's working overtime. Voodoo spells put on my life.
And here you have this song, all right? He says that you're scared of the six conveniently 3 times. Now, some people say, well, he's talking about Canada, but he says the 6 3 times. I don't think the area code of Canada is 666, and then why would we be scared of Canada? So listen to this.
Yeah, you're scared of the six. Yeah, you're scared of the six.
So, you know, there's a lot of demonic symbolism. You can see the imagery, you can see, you know, the owl and things like that. But I want to bring your attention to what happened recently, at one of his concerts, right? They have, I don't know, they got this infatuation with, portals, right? And so check this out. So I want you guys to take a look at this, Drake clip from a recent concert, right? So you see he's sitting on this bed. He's a young version of himself. I guess it's like a hologram or something. They've been using a lot of those. And then you see the screen right here. It's changing, it's transitioning. It shows him when he was, you know, a TV actor, I guess, like, you know, going through that timeline of his success. And then here's where it starts getting a little weird. So, you see that the lights are changing. He's going to bed. The lights turn off. And then here comes this like shadowy spirit kind of thing. Now, some people are arguing, oh, this is just a reference to Peter Pan. But, the guy who wrote Peter Pan, apparently, you know, he's like a Freemason and he practiced witchcraft, sorcery, or he was into that kind of stuff. Either way, all right, you see this shadowy creature, right, moving around. You want to say it's a reference to Peter Pan, but watch this, right? Starts spinning, splits into a whole bunch of different, you know, versions of that shadow and begins to create a portal right here. All right, I don't remember that in Peter Pan, right? Splitting into a bunch of shadows. And so it's spinning here, spinning, creating this portal. And then eventually here comes Drake. He's going to come out of that portal. So is that like some kind of symbolism for like, okay, you know, Satan visited me, you know, he talks about being the sixth god and all that kind of stuff. And we'll dive into some other stuff, but here he comes out the portal, right? And is this like symbolic of, oh man, this was my transition when I had this encounter? All right. Why is it that they're just so infatuated, you know, with this stuff in the music industry? We talk about it all of the time. And look, you got this, what's this goofy guy, Ja Rule? I mean, first of all, it's terribly corny and hard. Is he in his boxers? Like, what's going on? Like, this is just the facial expressions. He look like Master Splinter. Like, what are you doing? I don't know. It's just, but what is their infatuation? Like, you never see them do this with, you know, Muslims or any other religion. They always take some kind of element of Christianity and they want to mock it. Lastly, this is some artwork from his son. And he changed it. He's got some kind of thing, I guess, with the red eyes, you know, demon time, demon eyes. Whatever it is, but you see the original drawing, and then he decided to take it and change it to make it look more demonic. So, I mean, there's an infatuation there. It's not just entertainment. This isn't just, you know, some kind of, you know, like they're going out of their way to do this, and you see it over and over again in the music industry. So either you're going to just make excuses and you're going to keep listening to this stuff and opening yourself to these demonic portals and these spirits, because there are, you know, spirits influencing these people. We talk about it all the time. The Bible says that, you know, if they didn't love the truth, you know, there's going to be a strong delusion that the God of this world has blinded them.
You ain't never seen my movies?
The culturally historic battle between Drake and Kendrick Lamar is at its most esoteric, a battle between the inorganic and the organic, one of the markings which qualified it as historic. It is less a measuring of where the contending rappers are, as of where their culturally contending listeners or fans are. The characterization of events that occur within the sphere of pop culture as merely distractions is both dismissive and essentially lacks basic awareness concerning the meaningfulness of current world events and how they connect to compose the whole of what we know to be reality. And there is still a dismissive disrespect connected to the art that begins in the ghetto, but is eventually accepted as mainstream. The road to that acceptance is a bumpy one, rough with cracks and fissures born from classism, racism, and prejudice. And once we look back at the road traveled, it's apparent that we have not come as far as we would like to think we have as a society. This society thrives off war and conflict, polarization. Oftentimes, the only way true change and adaptation are allowed to readjust the behaviors and beliefs of the masses is through a war, even a cultural war. In true Freemason fashion, polarized citizens of the state are made to choose between two opposing views, as if those two views are the only perspectives that exist. And this is mind control at its finest, behavior modification 101. Our great war is a spiritual war, and every battle is a struggle to win the hearts and minds of the people. The battlefield is the mind state of a so-called culture, a culture that has become like a battlefield where both the casualties and victories take place in the souls of men. So it's wartime. War in the East, war in the West, war down South. And like the legendary reggae artist and Rastafarian Bob Marley once sang, everywhere is war. But whatever physical war has your attention, don't let it distract you from the ongoing conflict that is ever waging in the spirit realm. Pay closest attention to the war that is presently being waged over, as well as within, your own minds and souls. For that war is ancient and far-reaching. And to the mighty men of valor, the men, the brothers and fathers, it is more important now than ever that you, as head of household in the eyes of God, stay most vigilant. Continue to protect your children and families from all physical threats, as it's in you to do. But also, educate yourselves on the ever-present enemy of your household and the devices of that enemy, lest you cause both your sons, as well as now your daughters, to pass through the proverbial fire of pop culture corruption due to your lack of learning true moral vigilance and spiritual awareness concerning the supernatural nature of the very world you are in.
Use all my heart and my soul, in my writing. But at the end of the day, I am being guided by some other power. I don't know what it is.
And closed doors, a lot of six God worshiping.
Mom, Drake had flew me out. So I had made a video and I posted it on my Instagram story. It was a video of me inside a purple lingerie scene. And I had tagged Drake inside my story, but I tagged him and I made it real small so nobody could know that I had tagged him in my story. So I did not know that he was gonna even see it. I'm not even gonna lie. So he had texted me in vanish mode and was like, "What's your number?" with the heart eyes emoji. So I sent my number, quick. So he called my phone, we chopped it up or whatever, and that's when he was like, he trying to see me, and I was like, I'm trying to see you too. So he had booked my flight for November 16th. Mind y'all, we texting, talking, all of that, November 13th. So fast forward, I got off the plane, he had sent a private out to get me, but before I went inside his house, they made me sign an NDA. So I can't really say too much, but I had looked at my NDA rules, so I know what I can and can't say, you feel me? So when I get in the house, we just sitting on the couch, chilling, talking. He kept on rubbing on my stomach and kept on asking questions like, "Do you want kids?" And I'm like, "What you trying to say? Like, if you want a baby mama, you just say that." He just kept on rubbing on my stomach, asking me, "Do I want kids?" I was like, "Yeah, I want one. I want a little boy."
I'm Adrienne Clarkson. Tonight we report on a secret CIA research project carried out in Montreal in which mental patients felt they were used as the CIA's guinea pigs.
They kept you asleep for 23 days. And while I was asleep, they were shocking the heck out of me with electric shocks.
The CIA was interested in Dr. Cameron's work on psychic driving because it could give them an idea of where the personality could break or be stressed.
Those of us who were involved with trying to find out something about brainwashing, yes, this is the reason that we were interested in Dr. Cameron's work.
The American Central Intelligence Agency has been accused of manipulating citizens of countries all over the world, including Canada. At the moment, a number of Canadians are considering suing the CIA. They believe they are victims of covert CIA experiments. Tonight, two Canadians who feel the past 20 years of their lives were damaged by the CIA tell their stories publicly for the first time. They believe they were part of a CIA project called MKUltra, a research project so secret that even the Canadian government was not informed that the agency was funding activities in this country. The CIA was seeking a new weapon, aimed not at the body, but at the mind. Americans became obsessed with brainwashing during the Korean War. Prisoners of war returned home denouncing the American way of life. Hearing them parroting propaganda, the CIA became convinced the communists had found the key to brainwashing. Now the Americans had to unlock the mystery of mind control.
There was great worry that the Soviets had developed rather esoteric and unusual methods of so-called brainwashing people. The purge trials.
Dr. John Gittinger was the CIA's chief psychologist for 25 years.
There was continued pressure put upon anybody within the agency in connection with trying to explain or understand brainwashing. So we were charged with rather an elaborate attempt to try to find out chemical, psychological, any kind of means that people could use to influence the behavior of the people.
Nothing seemed too bizarre. To find out if sex could be used in spying, the agency studied San Francisco prostitutes and their clients. Using unwitting human beings as their guinea pigs, the agency tried everything: drugs, hypnosis, electroshock. Under code names like MKUltra, the CIA spent 25 years and $25 million on secret mind control research. Brainwashing could be a powerful ideological weapon, and the U.S. had to have it. And when the agency didn't undertake its own studies, it funded someone else's. Thus, the search for mind control brought MKUltra to Canada, to Montreal. Even in the Cold War years of the late 50s and early 60s, most doctors and academics would have been embarrassed to have found that an organization of spies was openly paying for their research. So the CIA set up a number of fronts, respectable foundations like the Human Ecology Fund. Sounds innocent enough, but it was run by the CIA's brainwashing experts. Here at McGill University in Montreal, the fund found 3 projects worth financing. They supported an extensive study of witch doctors in Nigeria. How, investigators wondered, did native healers cure mental illness? What mysterious drugs and potions did they use?
Device used to bind up excited patients. A sleeping potion is then administered.
20 years ago, the Human Ecology Fund paid for this movie.
This soothes the patient's head.
But it was only recently that the man who made the film found out that he had been working with the CIA's money. The author of the Nigerian study is still at McGill University. News of his connection to the CIA came as quite a surprise to Dr. Raymond Prince.
I couldn't imagine why the CIA would be interested in my work in looking at indigenous healers in West Africa. That seemed really strange. That was my first reaction, you know, and I couldn't believe that, I couldn't understand how the CIA would be interested in that.
Because there were all kinds of beliefs that African witch doctors could put the hex on people. But anybody who makes a systematic study of what are the psychological factors that can produce anything from having a person run amok in Indonesia or die of the sickness from a witch doctor in Africa would certainly add to all of the knowledge that we were being able to accumulate about behavioral science techniques.
The Human Ecology Fund also helped set up the Transcultural Psychiatric Research Review. Edited at McGill, the journal continues to publish without CIA support. The largest MKUltra research project, this one directly related to brainwashing, was carried out at the University Psychiatric Hospital, the Allen Memorial Institute. Located atop Mount Royal in a mansion with the eerie name of Ravenscrag, the Allen Memorial was once the most prestigious mental hospital in Canada. The unorthodox treatments of its director caught the attention of the CIA in the mid-50s. Dr. Ewan Cameron, the first director of the Allen Memorial, ran the institute with an iron hand for 20 years. But Dr. Cameron remained an American citizen and left the Allen abruptly in 1964. He returned to the United States, where he died in 1967. An energetic, enigmatic man, Cameron was an internationally honored and respected psychiatrist, but he was not universally liked. Former colleague, Dr. Elliot Emanuel.
He was an authoritarian, ruthless, power-hungry, nervous, tense, angry man. Not very nice.
Much of Cameron's research went on in the stables next to the main hospital building. Here he had his subjects photographed before and after treatment. Dr. Cameron may not have known that the $60,000 research grant he received from the Human Ecology Fund really came from the CIA.
Rudolf Hess.
Nonetheless, it now seems ironic to some that Cameron was called to the Nuremberg trials to examine Rudolf Hess. For it was at Nuremberg, after Nazi doctors who experimented on prisoners of war were condemned, that a code of scientific ethics was adopted. Research must be completely safe, and research subjects must give full, voluntary consent. Documents recently released by the CIA reveal what research Cameron proposed. To make patients receptive to repetitive messages, Cameron suggested using chemical agents to break down ongoing patterns of behavior. Chemical agents like LSD. LSD was almost unknown in the late 50s, and not yet widely tested. Despite the horrible hallucinations small doses can produce, Dr. Cameron left some of his patients to unsupervised LSD trips. In 1956, Bob Logie was 18 years old when his severe leg pains were diagnosed as psychosomatic, and he was sent to the Allen Memorial Institute. When Bob heard the news reports of CIA-funded research at the Allen, he sent for his medical records. They revealed several doses of LSD. Today, Bob Logie lives and works in Vancouver, but he's still angry.
I feel like I've been completely used. I feel like my mind has been completely invaded. I suppose if guinea pigs have feelings, they'd feel like I do.
LSD trips were terrifying to patients who had never heard of LSD and who had no way of knowing why their world was suddenly upside down. Hallucinations last for hours. Experts say this is what an acid trip would look like if it could be filmed.
The LSD was really horrifying, very horrifying, and they gave it to me for about 12 or 15 times. One minute I would see the doctor there, the next minute I wouldn't see him there, and they were asking me all kinds of questions, and I remember them telling me that I was getting smaller and smaller, and I really felt myself getting smaller. And they were bringing me back in time, way back, you know. At one point I almost felt like I was just about to be born, really, that far back in memory, and they were really, really probing, asking all kinds of questions, and I felt I didn't have any control. I had to answer. I didn't feel I had any control. I was completely, like they had complete control over me.
Bob's leg pains were eventually treated with cortisone, but the effects of the LSD stayed with him, and soon he was back in the hospital.
I just felt I couldn't cope. I couldn't adjust after the LSD, and I was having a hard time. I couldn't hold down a job for very long. I was going from one place to another, and the anxiety really built up. I just couldn't cope, and I went back.
The interest in this sort of chemical, this kind of magic, this shortcut weapon, prompted the CIA's interest in hallucinogens, particularly LSD?
Very definitely, because the first pressure was being based on the idea that there was some kind of truth serum or truth drug or something on that. So the people who knew that end of the business, they were definitely beginning to look in terms of chemotherapy. And of course, to people in this day and age, it's very hard to believe that the period before 1960 was a period which was certainly not a chemical culture in this country and not a drug culture in any sense of the word.
With some patients, Dr. Cameron tried a drastic treatment called depatterning. Massive doses of electroshock, 20 times more intense than the standard shock treatments used today, were administered to patients who were kept sleeping for days. Dr. Cameron thought he could wipe out patients' sick behavior and leave the healthy personality intact. but first patients were to be so depatterned that some even forgot their toilet training. Not all the patients ever completely regained their memories. Dr. Peter Roper was a close colleague of Dr. Cameron's at the Allen.
Many people, but some would reach what Cameron would call the third stage of depatterning. With that method, others would need 2 treatments a day, maybe for a week or longer, before they got to the third stage.
What would characterize the third stage of depatterning?
Well, the third stage, as defined by Cameron, was a loss of ability to orientate themselves. They knew who they were, but they didn't know where they were, and they didn't know what age they were.
As you probably know, electroshock treatment has been given for depression for something like 40 years now. It's a very successful and useful treatment for severe depression that doesn't respond to other things. But depatterning is a use of electroshock treatment in a totally different way, in which instead of giving the shocks, say, 2 or 3 times a week, they're given 2 or 3 times a day for 3 or 4 weeks, reducing the patient to a sort of animal, vegetable state, from which it's hoped that they would recover in a more healthy state of mind. It didn't work.
To put patients to sleep for up to a month at a time, Dr. Cameron used a combination of depatterning and large doses of drugs. Individual taped messages were repeated to sleeping patients 15 hours a day in an effort to brainwash them back to health. Now, Cameron reasoned, with their negative memories obliterated, positive suggestions could be implanted. Suggestions like, begin to assert yourself, express your anger. Dr. Cameron called his technique psychic driving. Bob Logie had driving therapy when he returned to the Allen in 1959.
I was there for a while. I thought, I don't want to stay here, and I started to run away from the hospital, and they grabbed me, and then they put me on sleep treatment. And they kept you asleep for 23 days. And while I was asleep, they were shocking the heck out of me with electric shocks and playing tapes just over and over. I don't know what was on the tapes yet, but we're going to find out what was on the tapes through hypnosis.
The CIA was interested in Dr. Cameron's work on psychic driving because it could give them an idea of where the personality could break or be stressed.
Those of us who were involved with trying to find out something about brainwashing, yes, this is the reason that we were interested in Dr. Cameron's work.
Patients came to the Allen Memorial Institute from all across Canada. Dr. Ewan Cameron, it was said, would give them the best psychiatric care money could buy. But some of the patients had no idea that a lot of their treatment, the LSD, the massive doses of electric shock, the sleep therapy, was highly experimental.
When I was in the hospital in '59, my husband, that's when he told me he thought they were killing me, because he said it was every day and there's a special treatment which he doesn't know. I think there was some sleep. I was always asleep. He used to call the hospital. I couldn't have any visitors for 3 weeks, you see.
Hilda Bernston was at the Allen Memorial in 1959 as Dr. Cameron's patient. She's convinced that the sleep treatment she received was depatterning. Her memory remains severely damaged. Mrs. Bernston was an English war bride. She and her Canadian husband went to Montreal in 1945 to raise their family. After a nervous breakdown, she was hospitalized at the Allen.
It's 3 weeks that was out of my life as far as I'm concerned, because I can't remember anything about it. I didn't know my husband and my children, my brother-in-law and his wife. And my sister-in-law at that time, when she saw me, she cried. My brother-in-law told me this when she saw me. She's a registered nurse too, and she said she'd never seen such a change in a person in 3 weeks. But I looked really dreadful. I still can't remember my aunt being with us. I look at the pictures that we took when she was here. We took her to New York, and we were at the museum there. I look at the pictures and I still can't remember her being with us. And she was with me for 3 months. And this aunt was my mother's sister, who was very near and dear to me.
Dr. Emanuel thinks Cameron's use of extensive electroshock, depatterning, was somewhat unethical.
The quantity, the frequency, the intensity, and the sort of animal state to which it reduced the patients.
What you're really saying is that the doctor knows that by doing it that much to somebody, there's going to be an effect? Is that...
Indeed. And with little promise of cure. Hope, but as it turned out, it wasn't, and it didn't become an accepted psychiatric treatment.
So many patients were left with some amnesia after depatterning that the Allen stopped the treatment when Ewan Cameron left. Under the new director, Cameron's disciples would come to regret their enthusiastic use of depatterning. Dr. Peter Roper left the Allen Memorial in 1967. What were the circumstances of your leaving the Allen?
Somewhat questionable.
In what way?
The annual reappointment was not renewed in 67.
Did Dr. Cameron have anything to do with this, or was it after he left?
Oh, that was after he left. He left in 64.
Did you have any disagreement about treatments given there?
I didn't disagree with anybody. I think there was the depatenting treatment was stopped, I think, in 65. So anybody that continued to do it after Cameron left didn't do it after 1965.
So you didn't do it after 65?
Oh, no.
I certainly know that an intelligent ethical scientist today would not do an awful lot of things that an ethical scientist would do in those days.
How do you now feel about the use of involuntary subjects for CIA experiments or CIA-funded agency experiments?
I certainly think that it would be ridiculous in this day and age. No, I don't see any way that you would do that.
There was no informed consent. I would guess that, as I've just said, informed consent, as we now know it, was not a part of research at that time, and especially as regards the use of LSD, perhaps, or the depatterning, I doubt if those patients really knew what they were being led into.
Informed consent doesn't mean much to people who are mentally ill.
Not many people are so mentally disturbed that they can't understand that they've been given an experimental drug, or they're being given electroshock 3 times a day. People can understand that. It can be explained in simple words.
It had a great effect on my life. I mean, I have been sick before, and I've had treatment, but there was never any experience I had was like that I had in 59.
I've never been able to sleep without medication since the sleep treatment. I went through years and years and years of severe depressions. I dream about it. All my waking hours I think about it. It's eating me up. It really is.
I mean, if he was doing it and knew what he was doing for the benefit of the CIA, then I don't agree with this at all. I mean, why pick on me or anybody else? I don't like that.
It leaves me completely stunned. I don't know if I'll ever recover from it.
Okay, dedication. I dedicate this book to the legendary exploited entertainers in our families who struggle to stop legacy abuse throughout entertainment and music. I would also like to dedicate this book to my father, Credell Jones, from the Shylights, and his wife and widow, Deborah Jones, my mother. To all those who believe in justice, equality, honesty, integrity, and great entertainment, with unity and reform, we can work together for a brighter tomorrow and a rewarding future. An overview of the Shylights' music. The way we look and the talents we have are God-given. However, how we use those talents is what defines our journey. Being a born star does not guarantee an easy route. To make a mark in a world where hundreds of thousands of talented individuals strive to shine, indeed it takes determination and hard work to be amongst the few who are to be remembered for centuries. My father, Credell Red Jones. There he is. There he is back in the day. All right. He says, my father, Credell Red Jones, was amongst the few who managed to cast a solid impression on the music industry. Even though he lived a life different from what he deserved, his contribution to the music world will never be forgotten. It all started in 1959 in his final year of high school. He, along with my mother, Deborah Jones, and friends, Robert Lester and Marshall Thompson, performed in a band that went by the name of the Shylights. Together, the band members attended Hyde Park High School in Chicago, Illinois. The band produced numerous songs that locked spots in the top 10, hit top singles, and the Billboard Hot Chart 100. The group, with Robert Lester and Eugene Records, was originally named Chanteurs, French for singers, which was renamed shortly after my father and Marshall Thompson joined. Originally, Marshall and my father were in the group Desideros. Its new name
was the Shylights. Unfortunately, the name had to be changed again because it turned out that the Shylights was already registered to someone else. The band members found a way of recognizing their hometown and changed it to the Shylights. Marshall was responsible for managing the group. Fellow group member Eugene Records. Isn't it something to have the last name Records and to end up in the record business? That's interesting. You know, there are those who say that the synagogue, well, those who say that the children of Satan, like they call him the father of lies, so he has children, that his children are already pre-selected. But then that would take away from the idea of us having free will and of someone being able to save or to have their soul saved, you know, regardless of anything outside of blaspheming the Holy Spirit. So we had to make room for all the scripture to fit. But I do think that it's interesting that sometimes the names that people are given end up having to do with the lives that they end up living.
Hey, yo, what's up, y'all? I have some very serious news. I've been praying on this, and I decided, I know it was risky because I knew it could come off as corny to some people. Like, yo, I decided to change my name again. I'm just not who I am before. I'm just not who I am. I'm something different. I'm something different. So my new name is Love, aka Brother Love. I will not be answering to Puffy, Diddy, Puff Daddy, or any of my other monikers, but Love or Brother Love, okay? It's my birthday. I feel good.
Yes, because I'm curious about something. In November, you posted a video, I believe on your birthday. Yes. In which you said your name is no longer Diddy. From now on, you are to be known as Brother Love. Yes. Or Love. Yes. Exclusively. Yes. So now I'm to refer to you as Love? Yes. Love Combs. No, just Love. Just Love. Just Love. Okay. All right. Well, as Love it's going to be. Just say it. And so then I can, if I call you, I'll go, hello, Love. Hello? Is this Jimmy? Love. It's me.
So the group with Robert Lester and Eugene Records was originally called, named the Chanteurs. Okay, its new name was the Shylights. Okay, Shylights was already registered to somebody. So the band members found a way of recognizing their hometown, changed it to the Shylights. Marshall was responsible for managing the group. Fellow group member Eugene Records wrote several songs, and my father was the bass baritone singer. Ba 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 boom. Although Eugene wrote the majority of the songs, there were several others that the group wrote together. There you go. It's Eugene record, man. Record. Ain't no S at the end. Come on, sucker. Jive time, sucker. All right, here we go. All right. Eugene wrote the majority of the songs. That's the songwriter. There were several others that the group wrote together. Got to put some faces with these peoples. Undisputedly, the Shylights ruled the R&B industry for decades. Well, there'd be a lot of spinning around groups that would sha-la-la-la-la-la-la deny that. So, here we go. Let Me Be the Man My Daddy Was the first song that served to be the band's claim to fame. The group had a long list of singles that were sung and enjoyed by fans of R&B music. The first song that made it to the top hit charts was Give More Power to the People. Oh, Girl was their second single, selling over 3 million copies, and the list just goes on and on. In 1968, the Shylights signed a contract with Brunswick Records. Now, Wick sometimes has to do with witch. Wiccan and witch share a direct etymological connection. But let's just look at the logo real quick if we can, because a lot of times that can help you, man. Brunswick Records. It sounds familiar. I can't picture it in my head. The label. Let's look at it. Oh, well, there would be a little pentagram there to say, well, maybe you're not so far off, Mr. Jackson. Maybe you're not. Anyway. Okay, so they signed a contract with Brunswick Records, and the songs they produced under this label took them to new heights of popularity, which means, here they come. After 8 years later, in 1978, my father began having some issues being part of the band. In no particular order, this book will outline the different issues and problems faced not only by my father, but by the Shylights music group, my family, and myself as well. What could have been that was bothering old Credell? The rehearsal, page 9. One day, the Jackson 5 came to our house for a quote-unquote rehearsal. That's what they called it. They were asked to go into the house to pick my dad up and practice a while before the world tour with the Shylights. So they were asked to go into the house to pick my dad up. His dad, remember, is Credell of the Shylights. That's old Credell right there, Red. They called him Red because he was a little lightish. That's what we call lightish ones. Okay. For folks that don't know about it. Now you know. Okay. Says all 5 members, okay, to pick up my dad and practice a while before the world tour with the Shylights. All 5 members, that's Randy, Jermaine, Jackie, he naming them, Marlon, and Tito were there. That's 5. Randy, Jermaine, Jackie, Marlon, and Tito were there. They arrived together in a black limousine while Michael arrived in a separate one. Now, at this time, I'm imagining that this was when Michael was with them and they were grown and toured together. Okay, they parked in front of our house, walked in, and began to talk about how they were going to produce this concert and what they needed to make it a memorable one. I believe that Tito, Joe Jackson, and Jermaine Jackson asked my father for $50,000 because they needed the money to spot the instruments. They were either leasing the instruments or needed to buy new ones for the concert. So my dad gave Joe $25,000 up front and told him he would give him the rest later. The next day, I remember seeing the Jacksons going downstairs to do a rehearsal for the concert. They even had dinner at our house. During the session, my sisters and I, when they were 9 and 6 and I was 5, we were brought down to the entertainment room located in the bottom basement of our house. My mother was down there at first, but she ended up going upstairs. She didn't want to see it. That's my side. All 4 members of the Shylights, including my dad, Marshall Thompson, Eugene Record, and Robert Lester, were there, along with the owner of Brunswick Records, Nathan Trenopole. Also, there was Joe Jackson. Each of the Jackson 5, including Randy, Jermaine, Jackie, Marlon, and Tito, and Michael. None of the others caught our attention as much as the new figure, who none of us recognized, who came in with Nat Trenopole. Now, he spelled his name a different way before, and I noticed that because I wanted to look him up. Well, let's just put his name in, because I don't believe this man was the owner of the label. I think this was someone in management, because I think he named him earlier. Okay, here he is, Nat Trenopole. Let's see, Nat Trenopole. He played a vital role in producing and shaping R&B music throughout the 1960s. He was an American record producer, okay, and he served as the president of Brunswick Records, okay, so that actually pans out. See? Check that out. Y'all see that? So that pans out. And guess what? He was born in Detroit, Michigan, oddly enough. Interesting. Perhaps we should know about this man. Here he is at Bell Sound Studios in 1960. Okay, so let's move on. So none of the others caught the attention of the children, and that is Creedell's children. So nobody caught their attention as much as the new figure whom none of the kids recognized, who came in with Nat, who the kids did recognize. It was a priest dressed in a satanic black robe with a hood that covered his face. The downstairs area was one large entertainment room with two smaller rooms that are connected to it. The main room had a pool table and bar, while the other two rooms were simply sitting rooms. There was also a small half bathroom to the side. As I walked into one of the sitting rooms, now, as far as I know, you can say these things on YouTube. They just demonetize you. We already own that status, so I might as well be able to say it, but I'm going to say it carefully, and also we don't want to trigger anyone. So he says, as he walked into one of the sitting rooms, he saw his sister being bent over the table and R-worded by Marshall Thompson from behind, while Joe Jackson pinned her down. Joe Jackson is the Jackson family patriarch. Once he finished, now this is something, see, you putting, this is something that you could sue for if it was not true. Now, a lot of times they say that when they write these tell-alls and the people don't sue, it's because a lawsuit may bring out certain details that would actually lend credibility to the story that's being told by the victim. So that's why a lot of times when these victims make those horrendous accusations like Little Rod made and Cassie made concerning the diddler, a lot of times when that happens, the accused does not want to fight it, because fighting it would only draw out more things, draw out more details. But here we have Marshall Thompson, American singer and musician from the Shylights. Here he is. He's got his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. He wrote a book about it. Last Man Standing, Shylights, Marshall Thompson. Interesting. So he says that his sister was being violated by Marshall Thompson from behind while Joe Jackson pinned her down. Once he finished, Marshall got up and then began to hold my sister down by her shoulders, while Joe Jackson then began to savagely R her from the front. The other Jackson 5 members and the Shylights musicians were in the loop. In other words, they were aware of what was going on in the entertainment room, waiting right next to this room we were in. I tried to stop them, but I was held down by the Jackson 5 members. I started to yell, "Get off my sister, get off my sister," but of course he was too little. But they weren't bothered one bit. I was quickly subdued by the group, who then brought my sister into the main entertainment room, where a satanic pentagram was drawn on the floor in white chalk. Does he mean like this one? Does he mean like this one? Does he mean like this one, being drawn on the floor in white chalk? Something like that, a little taste like that. Okay, interesting. So he says, yeah, I believe it, and the fact that I believe it makes it very terrible that nobody believes this story when this man tells this story, and he's had to be on Judge Lauren Lake paternity court. I mean, that means that probably means things aren't going very well in life. So Dad Credell, with all the sacrifices that he made, giving up his daughter, making his wife aware of these things. His wife had to be aware because at first she was in the basement, then she left, so she knew what was about to happen. And at the end of that, your children fighting over crumbs. You didn't have enough to abundantly leave everybody where ain't nobody got to fight. When you're fighting over scraps. But that's how the devil do you. Dish you and dismiss you. Don't even kiss you. Now, here we go. So he said, I tried to stop him, but I was held down by the Jackson 5 members. I started to yell, "Get off my sister, get off my sister." but they weren't bothered one bit. I was quickly subdued by the group, who then brought my sister into the main entertainment room, where a satanic pentagram was drawn on the floor in white chalk. They took off all my sister's clothes and placed her on the table at the altar they had created. Then the Jackson 5 members, one by one, began to rape my sister. Each of the Shylights members, including my father, raped her next. To make matters worse, as they were holding me down, they raped me as well. All 12 of them were animals as they arred me one by one. I forgot. I wasn't supposed to say it. I'm sorry. It was truly a terrifying experience. I was able to escape and go upstairs. How? Why? From the top of the stairwell, I could see the black-hooded priest walking behind Joe and Marshall, and they were escorting my sister out of the room where they had just arred her. The satanic priest had a Caucasian infant in his arms who looked to be only about 2 months old. Joe Jackson reached under the altar and came back up with a dagger and a gold goblet adorned with jewels and rubies. In one swift motion, Joe put the baby on the altar and held it down while Marshall slit the baby's neck. Then Joe Jackson placed the goblet underneath the child's neck and collected its blood. I watched in horror as the baby died soon after having its throat slit. Joe took the blood-filled cup, drank some of it, then passed it around to the other peoples in the room. He first passed it to the members of Jackson 5, who were each in black robes. Each member took a sip and passed it to the next person. Now this brings to mind the excerpt from the book Thanks for the Memories, which is Bryce Taylor. There's also the book Transformation of America by Kathy O'Brien. And there's also a book by Candy Jones, wife of talk show host Long John Neville, called The Control of Candy Jones or something along that line. But all of these books are from women who were presidential models or sex kitten, quote unquote, brainwashed MKUltra victims turned sex slaves who wrote books, tell-all books. And in one of the books, and I do believe it was Bryce Taylor's Thanks for the Memories, she tells of being carted around by Bob Hope, and Bob Hope took her backstage at some show. Maybe it was Ed Sullivan, I don't recall. Maybe she couldn't recall either, but at some show along that line where the Jacksons were supposed to perform, and before the Jacksons were about to perform, they were sodomized, each of them. A man came in and did this to them, and she was aware of it. And then immediately after it was over, they had to get dressed and go perform. And there are those who say that, that act of ritual abuse, because when it's done, it comes from ritual abuse. That's where the idea of it comes from. Nobody once had the good idea, let's just try something weird. That's not the origin of that. The origin is from sexual ritual abuse, and from the understanding by conjurers that doing the most egregious things that disrespect creation tears the very fabric, the very veil of reality of the third dimension, and allows in entities that are anathema to creation. And this is why they do it. This is why Puff do it. This is the fixation with it. It's not just about power. It's not just about, let me prove how much power I have over a man. Like Jaguar Wright said, the woman said that Puff exclaimed concerning his domination or alleged domination of Christopher Williams. It's not about power. It's not about a kink and fetish. Now, certain things that come from trauma and ritual can then become a kink or fetish. Do you understand the difference? But know what came first, the chicken or the egg in this case. Is not as mysterious as the chicken or the egg. It's certain and obvious where it comes from, which is one reason why the movement, the pink hand movement, is so religiously vigorous. They're very zealous. They have the religious zeal of a sanctified person on 10, because they're actually dealing with something that has spiritual significance. But let's move on, which is why that's why it's a part of satanic ritual, part and parcel. Now, and again, well, the marriage bed is undefiled. Me and my husband, well, you and your husband, that's your business. But I'm here to tell you the origins of a thing. Overstand? So let's just finish this little part here. So he say, Joe Jackson reached under the table. Okay, he did that to the baby. Because I watched in horror as the baby died soon after having his throat slit. Joe took the blood-filled cup, drank some of it, then passed it around to the other people in the room. He first passed it to the members of Jackson 5, who were each in black robes. Each member took a sip and passed it to the next person. Nat Turnuple, that's the head of the label, president of the label, and the satanic priest took a sip as well. Soon it was the members of the Shylights' turns to drink from the cup. They were all dressed in red robes, and each member took a sip, including my father. I couldn't bear to watch anymore. When I closed the basement door, my mother told me to go upstairs to my room. As I made my way through the kitchen, I saw my mother opening the refrigerator. It was the type that had a freezer on one side and the refrigeration on the other. The freezer area of the fridge was stuffed with at least 6 dead babies, including the baby I had just seen them murk. The babies were wrapped in plastic, and it was a horrific sight. There were even small bodies wrapped in plastic on the counter. I asked my mother what it was just to confirm I wasn't losing my mind. She blatantly said, dead babies. I began crying, unable to believe what I had just heard, but her expressions were blank, stern, and emotionless. She asked me to go to my room upstairs as if I was crying over something petty and not something inhumane. Over the next few days, I witnessed Joe Jackson and Marshall Thompson cut the bodies of the babes they'd slaughtered to please their satanic god. They cut their legs and arms off, placed the limbs in a baking dish, and began to eat the cooked baby's remains. It took me days to overcome the trauma. The shock and horror from everything I witnessed solidified the pain I felt from what was happening.
To describe this story as horrifying would be an understatement. And if that sounds like a warning, then that's exactly what it's meant to be. It deals with the sexual abuse of children by satanic cults. And not only that, human sacrifices as well. We started investigating these secret satanic cults when a British Member of Parliament linked them with the ritual murder of children. In this day and age, it sounded too far-fetched, as did suggestions that the same thing might be happening in Australia. But then we met Tisa. She's only 15, and for 12 of those years, she's been the victim of relentless depravity. Tisa's story is both shocking and compelling, yet it's a story she's anxious to tell. But again, we should warn you that parts of this report may be distressing.
Friends of the family and strangers and my family used to rape me, make me abort the babies I had.
It would be hard to imagine more misery and suffering than what Tisa says she's had to endure.
then us kids would be made to do things with the adults and the animals, and then a sacrifice would happen.
The sacrifice? Were these animal sacrifices?
Animals and people.
On what scale do you think this was happening?
Enormous. Far beyond what we've ever heard of here before.
Teresa's mother, Bridget. You're talking about mass murder?
Yes. On a scale that this country's never heard of before. Like the old people's homes now.
For the first time, Teresa is learning what it's like to live with love instead of fear.
Pretty though.
In this quiet English village, with the help of her mother, she's slowly repairing her broken life. Teresa is now 15, but at the age of 2, she was left in the care of this woman, the grandma she called Nan, and that, she says, is when her torment started. Who was the leader? Who was the boss of the gang, of the cult?
At home it was my nan.
Your Nan made you have sex with animals?
Yeah. Like goats and donkeys.
The story of Teresa is a story almost too horrible to recount. A case of child abuse that goes well beyond the kind of things we normally associate with the abuse of children. In 27 years of reporting, it has to be one of the most painful stories I've ever had to tell. How many men or how many people would have sex with you?
What, at one time?
Yes.
About everyone who was there, which must have been about 20. You know, from 10 to 20 people. If it was a big ceremony, it used to be 30.
What would your grandma be doing when these men were forcing themselves on you?
Usually laughing. Or smiling. Or having sex with another man. Or other men.
A chronicle of debauchery and depravity so horrific it's hard to believe. You have to ask yourself, could Teresa be just making it up?
No. I know what's true and what's not. No, I know what I saw.
Children don't make up elaborate lies that this would have to be if it was a lie, which I know it is not. It isn't.
This couldn't be a terrible dream, a nightmare, that you're reliving?
No. It's no dream. It's a nightmare, but it's not one you can wake up from. It's there all the time.
This really happened, you're quite sure of that?
Yeah.
The police don't think Teresa made up a story. Some of the cult members are to stand trial. 5 men have been charged with rape. As for Nan, the grandmother, she's 61 and lives in this council flat in South London. She's charged on 7 counts of aiding and abetting rape and 2 counts of performing abortions on Teresa. If you're finding this hard to believe, so did I at first. But then there are the medical reports, evidence of sustained sexual abuse. And there's this, a statement prepared for 60 Minutes by Teresa's psychiatrist. It says, in my opinion, Teresa's account is not the product of a psychotic illness, nor the figment of a fertile imagination. I believe her to be telling the truth.
I know what's true and what's not.
We also took Teresa's story to this man, therapist Ray Wire. He reads a transcript of our interview and listens to her voice.
It's no dream.
Few people, if any, in Britain have counselled as many victims of satanic abuse or Satanists themselves as Ray Wire has. If there is an expert on satanic cults, it would have to be him. Do you believe Teresa's story?
I believe Teresa's story. It's exactly the same story as I've heard from men who says they've done it.
You've dealt with other cases like hers?
Yes.
21 cases like hers, he says, in the past 2 years alone.
Themes like they were put in boxes with spiders and worms, where they were trapped in fear, where there was a high use of excrement and urine, where there was talk of human sacrifice.
Take just one of those rituals, putting children in boxes with spiders and worms. Now, listen to what Teresa told her mother.
And they had a coffin-like box that children were put in with spiders and snakes and the lid shut and left in there. I would have come out deranged.
This is probably the worst memory from my childhood. I looked in the grave and there was a partially decomposed, there was a body of a partially decomposed, light-haired person. It was at least shoulder length, blondish, pale coloured hair, It was half decomposed, there was maggots. So it was fresh. It's a body that my perpetrators had put in here and prepared, you know, here's one prepared earlier. It was all ready to go. So like I said, there was at least 6 people. They had straps, picked my body up on the straps and lowered me down into a very deep hole. They laid me face up on top of the partially decomposed body. They were chanting. They were dressed in robes. I was naked. I have a very clear memory of being lowered down and them. It wasn't quite. I can see light, a silhouette, the silhouettes of them. So it must have been not too dark, or it's a full moon, something like that. And they're chanting to their pagan gods. And this is a rebirth ceremony. The thing, the decomposed body inside, is called a ghoul. I was told that it would come to life once the lid was closed, or once I was in there. I believed this thing was going to come to life. They put the lid on top and it went completely dark. And I thought this thing was then grabbing me and suffocating me. I was screaming my head off. I was screaming as much as an 8-year-old could scream.
I could not have coped with that mentally at all.
You have evidence to back up stories like Teresa's, that this is really happening?
Well, we have that age of child, 6, 5 and 4, giving information that ties up with Teresa. How do those children know? How do those children able to describe rituals, to talk about ceremonies, to talk about sacrificing animals? How do those children know?
Nightmares, imagining it?
You can't imagine those things at 3 and 4 years old, and you also don't have the evidence of anal sex abuse and oral sex abuse and all that other abuse that clearly those children have experienced and endured.
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer. Lucifer, 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 Lucifer.
Lucifer, what is your problem?
Just that, sir.
Okay.
I'm a Christian, sir.
I'm pure and virtuous and wholesome and innocent. How can you say anything bad about me?
Sir, you need to be born again.
I am born again.
Now, did you just say that you are Lucifer?
I am Lucifer.
Okay, define Lucifer for me.
Pure, virtuous, wholesome, innocent individual that's out to help people.
Lucifer is?
Yeah.
Say that again. Lucifer is a pure, holy...
Virtuous.
Virtuous. Now, is he the Lucifer that God created?
That's the same one.
Oh, man, this is great. I'm going to put this on the internet.
Oh, amen. God bless you, amen. Brother.
Because that's exactly what the Shriners and Masons teach, is that Lucifer is light.
No.
And you're
about
confirming
those hospitals?
You know what, sir? Jesus said, many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, we did not do these good deeds in your name. And you'll say, away from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you.
Jesus said it?
In Matthew chapter 5.
Mercy.
No.
That's hard to believe.
So you're a Christian and you don't know that. Actually.
No, I really am.
You are.
Because I'm pure and virtuous.
You're pure and virtuous, okay. Yeah. In other words, you're perfect without Jesus, right?
No.
Okay, tell me about Jesus. Who is Jesus?
Well, he's my leader.
Is he the Son of God?
Yes, he is.
Is he the only worshipful master?
Yes.
Have you ever been called worshipful master?
No, because I've just been too busy. I've been working. Been working to help people.
What kind of work? Okay.
Get out of here.
See, this is what a Mason confesses, is that Lucifer is light.
You don't want to believe it. Who wants to believe it? Who wants to, quite frankly, people don't have breakdowns and stuff because they lose touch with the reality. It's the exact opposite. Most of the time people have a breakdown because they come into contact with reality. And it's so
That's why drugs are so prevalent.
Drugs, alcohol, sex, staying on the internet, staying on my phone, whatever it is. We, human beings, we don't really want to face, the full brunt of reality. And so basically, this is what I'm trying to say is, I do believe that there is a significant opening in the consciousness, and I'm not talking about New Age consciousness, but the consciousness,
public consciousness
of humanity that something is really, really wrong now. And this is more, there's something deeper and darker and more sinister, you know what I mean, than we have known, or we kind of maybe knew somewhere over there, 18-hour plane trip somewhere else. But now it's in our backyard. And
you're saying people are waking up to the ability to believe
the possibility that it exists. The possibility that it exists.
Yes. So, I'm sorry to cut you off, but just to capture that, the answer to the question of, like, how do you know? For you, you know by experience, mostly from memory.
But here's the deal. I was struggling. I was having a conversation with God when it would, it would kind of come up, and I would,
memories would come up.
Memories and flashbacks and things, and I would be quite frank with God, I'm crazy. I'll be like, I'm nuts. I've lost my mind. And it's like I'd hear this little voice go, no, you're not. No, you're not. And some of the confirmations early on was just speaking out and telling a friend of mine, a retired minister. This person was also trained for 4 years at the Institute of Pastoral Counseling. And I was like, I was talking to her, and I was like, I've had flashbacks, I've had memories, of these things. And she stopped me mid-sentence as I'm telling her, like, really replaying them, and she goes, let me ask you a question. Is your father a Shriner? And I said, no. I said, he was a Freemason. She goes, mm-hmm. And so then it began to be, oh my gosh, there's this whole world of Christianity that knows about this, and has known about it, and has known a lot of the organizations involved for a long, long time.
Now, is that a positive statement, or is that a criticism?
Well, I think that I think it's both. I think it's positive in that it is part of the awareness and the existence of it. People have been aware of it for a while. The church has been ministering to it in small, dedicated pockets, but it's not part of kind of mainstream ministering in churches.
Right.
And but I do believe counselors, psychologists, psychiatric hospitals and things. People come in there because they got an issue. You know what I mean? They're highly traumatized or whatever. And so, depending on the worldview of the practitioners that are there, they're going to say, yeah, I believe you're damaged in occult, or you're just psychotic. Yeah.
What did they say about the devil, about Lucifer?
That killing the people made him happy.
Sacrifices to please the devil. According to Teresa, the worst rituals took place at a house somewhere in the country.
It was big, expensive. From the front it looked like a castle. It had a long drive and big double wooden doors.
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich.
Now, where was this big house somewhere in the country? Teresa says she can't take the police there because the Satanists made sure she'd never know how to find it.
Teresa was always drugged, or on a couple of occasions she said she was knocked out, so that she never fully knew the route.
There was a tramp who was brought in once, and he was killed. He was cut from his throat down to his stomach. And that they ate him, or bits of him.
They killed a man at a ceremony?
Yeah.
In front of you?
Yeah, in front of all of us.
Did the tramp, did this man fight back?
No, I think he was, drunk or something. He seemed really dopey. He was laughing a lot when he was brought in. And he started screaming when they began to cut. But after a while, he died. I'd seen a few killings before then. Although I wasn't used to it, that was the worst one. I really don't know what I thought. I suppose I thought, thank God it's not me.
Let me get this right now. Are you saying that you saw more than one person killed in that house?
Yeah. I've seen loads of babies killed there. Just newborn babies, or aborted ones which were only small. you know, 4-year-olds. Any age, really.
Did they ever say they might kill you?
They threatened to kill my little girl, who, when I left, was still at the house.
A friend?
Huh?
What little girl?
My little girl, Alex. She's about 4 now.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
Motherhood at the age of 11.
Never talked
But from what Teresa told her mother, it wasn't the only pregnancy.
We think about 7 or 8 times. It's hard to say. It was constantly happening from the time she was capable of being pregnant.
What happened to the pregnancies, to the babies?
They were aborted by my nan or by one of the doctors at the house.
There were doctors there at that house?
Yeah, there was 2, I think. Yeah, and a nurse.
What would happen to the fetuses, the unborn babies?
They used to be taken away most of the time, and one time the baby was taken out of me and then killed in front of me because it was still alive.
And then, what would happen?
Well, after they killed it, they would eat it. But we were also made to eat it.
You were made to eat your own fetus?
Yeah.
Who made you do this?
My nan.
You'd think the one person in the world you could leave a little girl with would be Grandma. Someone to give her love and protect her from harm. Yet, when Teresa was left to live with her grandmother, they might as well have handed her to the devil himself.
Grandmothers, I mean, the vision it conjures up for you. A sweet old lady with grey hair, rosy cheeks, holding her arms out to love her grandchildren. And it was exactly the reverse.
But why was Teresa living with Nan in the first place and not with her mother?
When my first marriage broke up, I took the children with me and couldn't cope. So I gave them to their father, who in turn moved to his mother's.
To Nan's place?
Yeah. And when he left the Nan's place, he left the children there.
Can you get into the things that you witnessed as a child?
First, I want to say that my life is really good now. My recovery, though, was from child trafficking. My parents were my pimps. They prostituted me. They took child of me. And they also, some of the abuse would be considered by some people satanic ritual abuse. The things that were done to me are done to other children and included being placed in a coffin with a corpse.
It wasn't just any corpse.
It was my sister. My sister died when I was 9 and she was 11. And she was the person in the family I could trust. We couldn't trust our parents. And so I had some memory of thinking she was the lucky one because she died. She had brain cancer. She died in a hospital. She was not murdered. But then her body was taken to our church and I was there. It was in the middle of the night or wee hours of the morning. And they made me watch while they mutilated my sister's body. They put a knife in my hand. And I've wondered, like, how did they get me to do that? And I really felt guilty that I had cut my sister's body. But really, my dad just said, do it, and I did it. I mean, that's just how it was.
Well, he gave you plenty of reasons to fear him.
Oh yeah, so many reasons to fear him. Before I went to kindergarten, we had a cat that had kittens. And so, we loved the little kittens. And they made us stand at the side of the house while they, in a ritualistic way, killed our kittens. They threw the kitten at the house, and they had water there to drown kittens. I mean, these were several different kittens, but we had to stand for a long time watching our kittens die. And then they said the same thing will happen to you if you tell about the abuse.
And you blocked these memories out for
until I was 37. So when I was first remembering my abuse, I kept having this image of my body as an adult being thrown at a wall, and I couldn't understand what that was about. But eventually I realized it was the kittens being thrown at a wall. I experienced another ritualistic event, was witnessing a black man being murdered on a cross. Yeah, I was about 8 years old, being in my dad's station wagon, my mom and dad in front, and I call him Dr. D in the back seat with me. And then we went to this shack out in the country, and the man let us into his house. There were two women, and there was another little girl who was just my size. The man knew my father. He let us in, and then when he did, a gun was pointed at his head. And then the man was put tied to the cross, and a gun was held at my head, a gun was held at the little girl's head. And then 8mm camera, that was my mom, took footage of it. And apparently the kind of people who like to see films of black men being murdered also like to see little girls without clothes on, because I was made to do something to that man while he was on the cross. He was told that if he would go along with it and pretend to die willingly, like Jesus Christ did, that the little girl wouldn't be killed. And so he did. But then as soon as he died, as soon as his last breath, then the gun went off and the little girl was killed.
And the gun was at your head as well?
There was a gun at my head, but it was taken away at that point, and I was told, to leave. My mom grabbed my hand. I was supposed to leave because they set the shack on fire. And so I remember that I did not want to leave with the bad people. I wanted to stay with the good people and die. I knew I would die. The women were tied up in the kitchen area of it, and one of the women called out to me and said, "Little girl, you go and you tell what happened." And I used to think the woman was saying, "Tell what happened to me, tell what happened to us." But no, she was saying, "Tell what happened," because she wanted me to have a reason to want to grow up. I've grown up, and I told, and I appreciate this opportunity to tell. Ritual abuse, that was ritualistic with the white cross, black man. And my therapist, when I told her about it, she said, "Well, that's a lot of imagery, so maybe it's symbolic." So that night, I have cousins with similar memories. So I called one of my cousins, and I told him what happened, and I said, "Did that happen to you?" And he said, "The black men I saw crucified were homeless. They weren't men with families." So he has seen black men crucified on crosses, and other of my cousins have too. And I've tried to call the police and report this, because murder, there's no statute of limitations, but you have to know where it happened. And I just knew I lived in the Seattle area. I was put in a car. It seemed like I was driven a very long ways. I fell asleep in the car. I could have been driven to Canada, or I could have been, still in Seattle area.
and there was a very, very popular big band leader,
jazz
band, yeah, very famous. Played a lot in Montreal, Canada, Vancouver, the big cities. And one night we went to one of these seances, and he was with his wife. Now the spirits had told him what to do. Spirit told him, there's two of these guys, give the names, and your wife will want to talk, will make it so that your wife will want to talk to the medium when you say that you want to go home because you're tired. As soon as you see that these guys are starting to want to leave, then leave with them at the same time, and as you get outdoors, you ask them if they're driving. They'll say no, they're going to take the tramway a couple of blocks away. Well, you invite them to get in your car with you and that you will take them to a fancy restaurant and treat them to some good food and talk about the merchant navy. And that's what the guy did. And there we were in this going to this plush restaurant, pulled into a little alley, and I can still see it like it was yesterday. Just enough room to pass the car, back alley, that happened to give on a restaurant that was on St. Catherine's Street, which is the main street in Montreal. And it was quite an evening.
So, Roger, you're at this restaurant. What happened?
Well, after we were seated, in entering there, the place was just full, packed tight. There was a couple of tables against a wall that had a reservation sign on it. And the owner of the place recognized the band leader and came and said, good evening, and you gentlemen want a table. So, you're one of the reserved people. So we sat there, and we had our favorite alcoholic beverages, you know. And as we talk, the band leader says, how long have you fellas been involved with sorcery? And he shocked us a little bit. And I said, exactly what do you mean? Well, he said, you know, what you people are doing, talking to the supposed spirits of the dead. He says, this is silly.
And this man had been at the seance with you.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he's telling you that it's silly what you've just done.
So see, my wife, he says, goes to the seances because she gets comfort and she gets something good out of it, good feeling out of it. And she lives for what the spirits are going to see that the future is going to be like. To me, he says, I can't bother with this stuff. He says, I want power. I go right to the source of power. And he says, how do you think that I became famous the way that I am? Well, I said, you must have had some good luck. Well, he says, there's no such thing as good luck. He says, there's either some power working for you somewhere, or you don't get ahead in this world. Not in my type of occupation. So, it went from there. We got talking about spirit worship.
Did it intrigue you? Or did it make you want to find out more about what exactly he was talking about?
Yeah. So, he said the supposed spirits of the dead that you're talking with are demon spirits. They're fallen angels. They're beautiful beings.
Just set it out, just like that.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't make you uneasy when he said they were...
Well, it shocked you a little bit, you know. Something that you first hear mentioned to you. He said, you guys have got a great future ahead of you. Because we've been told, the high priest of our society, secret society, has been told that the master has very special plans for you too.
Now, what did he mean by the master?
Satan. And we were interested to hear more about it. And he told us, he says, look, we worship spirits. We worship Lucifer and all his angels. They're just as beautiful as they did before they were cast out of heaven. He says there was a misunderstanding in the whole thing. He said, among the inhabitants of the galaxies. And he says our master was misunderstood. And God did not bear with him like he does with people that make mistakes today. So we're in a warfare, good against evil. And we happen to be the evil ones, but we're not that bad. He says, I look at this business between the force of good and evil. He says, you believe in one person believes in God, and everyone believes in Lucifer. It's like politics.
So the great controversy is real. And you heard someone talk about it. It's on the other side.
You know, but it was true. Wednesday night came. He was there with his big Lincoln. Step in, and we went to one of the most beautiful area of Montreal. The place was a mansion. Now, a mansion is usually very large. We call this a small mansion. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful place. Yeah.
Roger, your friend George took you and Roland to this mansion where people worship the demons.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like there? What kind of people were there?
Well, it was a big surprise for me, as I kind of made up in my mind an idea that they were going to be rough-looking characters. But as we entered the place, I was amazed to see that they were all very well-dressed, well-mannered, and that a lot of the people, as we were being introduced to people, were professionals, doctors, attorneys, a lot of business people. And see what they had a praise session to the gods, which is the spirit counselors, which are in charge of legions of spirits, of demon spirits. And they talk about what the Lord of their lives has done for them, because they call on particular spirits, like the god Nehushta, which you read in 2 King about the Israelites worshipped the golden serpent that Moses had made.
Mm-hmm.
Well, behind the spirit worship, behind that, they were worshipping the serpent. They were actually worshipping this spirit Nehushta. And the same spirit Nehushta is, the priest was telling us, that the medical doctor that was telling us how he was making operations that had never been made before, because people had to be awake, have no feeling. He was able to, carry on the surgeries that had not been done before. Mm-hmm. But the spirits would give the capacity to be able to operate without people feeling any pain and things. And also without no problem with the blood, because as he would cut his incisions, everything open and with no blood running. Mm-hmm. So he could do the work that has not been done before.
Now, I recall reading in your book that at this praise worship service they would sing hymns. Why would they sing hymns in a demon worship?
Yeah, this was kind of a big surprise to me when that took place. The priest said, hey, let's go down to the worship room of the gods and have a praise session, a singing session. So we go down there, and what do you think they pass around? Church hymnals, Christian church hymnals. And I couldn't believe this. I said, what's this business? So the priest says, well, now, he says, for those of you that are new, let me tell you that this is the most feasible way, he says, to please the spirits. Is to deride Christ and his people, in his church and all that. So they sing out of Christian hymnals.
They didn't sing Christian words to the hymns, however.
Well, they changed a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a form of blasphemy. Yeah. Mm. Such as you see today. In the rock music world, you see the entertainers, they have these crosses. Mm-hmm. The ladies got earrings, crosses. Mm-hmm. The guys got the cross. This is a form of blasphemy, a form of deriding Christ. You see. Mm-hmm. Spirits cause the people to do that, to find pleasure in wearing this type of emblem, which is the cross is the emblem of the crucifixion of Christ for the Christians.
Mm-hmm. So what were your impressions the first time you went down into that worship room?
Well, it was, we'd been there maybe half a dozen times. And the high priest told us after the meeting was over, he wanted to talk to us, my friend and I. So after most people had left, he says, the master of my life has revealed to me that it is time for you people to become acquainted with the worship room of the gods. Well, we started to move toward a beautiful grand staircase. Beautiful. The banister was huge, it was massive. And the wrought iron work that they had done was super. The beautiful decorations on the walls, the chandelier on the first landing. There was a first landing, you go down about 8 or 10 steps, and you had the first landing. It was huge and beautiful. The light arrangement was the nicest I'd ever seen in my life. When we got into this sanctuary area, it wasn't very brightly lit, but everything was magnified. The beauty of certain things, like. A lot of the things were gold-plated or gold trims. See, the little altars where they had the spirits that had materialized. They photographed them, and then they had paintings made of them. And there was probably about maybe 100 of those around the place.
Sort of like a shrine.
Yeah, and underneath there was a little altar where you have incense and things that they would use in their prayer sessions and things like that, devotions to certain spirits. And some of the objects in there the priest said were solid gold. It was a unique experience to see that.
So how did you feel when you walked into that room?
I felt that these people had power, and they had a lot of it.
Did that attract you?
Yes and no.
You had mixed feelings about it?
I had mixed feelings about it. Yeah. Because to a certain extent, things looked so good and sounded so good to us. But you see, I'd been brought up in a Christian home where my parents had told us we were 8 children in the family, and especially the older ones, you know. My dad says, well, you know, if you get involved in wrongdoing, you're going to have to pay the price. There's always a cost for everything in this world. So this thought kept creeping to my mind. Just how far you go with these spirits before we can start paying the price. See?
So it made you just a little bit nervous.
Oh, yes.
But yet you kept going back.
Oh, there was no way out. Because that's what we were told.
You knew at that time.
Yeah.
So you were moving forward more on fear.
More on fear, yes. Because the high priest said that the master had special plans for us in our lives. And that no one ever went into this society unless they were invited by the spirits. See, so that was made very clear. And he also expressed to us the danger, explained to us the danger of going against the will of the spirits. And he mentioned about this one man and his wife that lived in a fireproof building in Montreal. The place burned right down within a minute. He was one of their members that had decided that, well, he wanted to think things over. He was not going to get initiated at the time that the spirit said he would like him to be initiated into the society.
So in reality, Roger, you were chosen by high-powered demon spirits to be a part of their human, special, privileged group.
You see, these people in Montreal, the society, like the priest mentioned, there's thousands of spirit worshippers in all these different societies of spirit worshippers in this world. But he says we are the elite. We know the real truth about the master and his angels. And they are not hideous-looking beings. They are gorgeous creatures. And from the paintings that they had on the walls of that worship room, they were unique big beings. Especially there was a painting full length painting of the fallen Lucifer above his altar. And that was very fascinating. Because he looked like a man of great intellect, high forehead, the way that he looked with his eyes, the way he had the eyes looking. It gave you a depth of perception of somebody that is very, very knowledgeable and powerful, yeah.
most of all say. most of all say.
Respect those people. I don't care about that. I'm, you know, I told you I had connections. Nobody was gonna say nothing to me.
I get it. And it made me think when you just said kind of the comment about some of the people that we've known in the industry and what they might have to do to get to the top. Can you give me
all of them? All of them. You name your biggest black actors, you name your biggest white actors, you name your biggest female Latino actresses, they all have to do it.
Dennis would claim that Drake made up his role as an absentee father.
I said, Drake, why are you saying all of this different stuff about me, man? Like, this is not cool. He goes, Dad, it sells records.
initiation. All right, so when Madonna spit inside Drake's mouth on stage, that was him being initiated into the Kabbalah. All right. Now, if you didn't know, whenever you see people with this red string around their wrist, all right, this is a form of the Kabbalah. They've all went through this initiation process, all of them. All right. Now, some people may say, "Yo, Jay, what's wrong with the Kabbalah?" You know, it's all of that stuff is connected. It's all witchcraft. You get what I'm saying? It's all witchcraft. I don't understand why people don't get it, but you know, it's all a part of the occult. Tarot cards is all connected to witchcraft. It's all of it. All of it. Fortune telling, all of it. All right. So these people know this stuff. All right, and this is why they practice it. All right. Now, I want to focus on the sacrifices that had to be made in order to level up Drake's career. All right. Now, in 2011, right, Drake's producer, 40 Shabib, was actually hospitalized and nearly died. All right, but this info was scrubbed off the internet. Okay, I don't know why per se it was scrubbed off the internet, but you can't find this anywhere. All right, I had to do some extensive digging, all right, to find this information. But his producer 40, okay, who suffers from MS, was actually hospitalized and nearly died. Okay, and it wouldn't doubt my mind that Drake actually had this removed from the internet. All right, so people would not know. Okay, this type of stuff goes on, okay, because that would just open up a rabbit hole to more information. All right, but on September 20th, 2017, another offering was given, all right, by the name of Anthony Fifth Soares, okay, which Drake has declined to address.
Everything I play gon' be funky.
Got you, baby, I got you. I got you, baby, I got you. I got you, baby, I got you.
I was in Toronto playing drums with Jerry Lee Lewis, and Sandy was at our show, and I was looking for a pack of cigarettes, and she was standing there at the bar when I asked the bartender where could I find cigarettes. So she said, "Here, have one of mine."
All of the gigs Dennis was playing, they took a toll on his relationship with Sandy and Drake. Now, in a 2014 interview with the Memphis Flyer, well, they wrote this. "Yeah, that's a hard one," Graham says. "Before looking away, I would never do it again." He stares at the ground. "That ruined part of his mother and my relationship. Yeah, I'm coming home after 2 a.m. every night and," he hesitates, "his distinctive swagger broken for the first time. It just doesn't work. My dad drove me to Memphis one time from Toronto. It was a 20-something hour drive. I brought my Doggy Style cassette. I asked him, 'Dad, can I please play this?' Mom won't let me play it in the house." And he was like, "Yeah, you can play it for 20 minutes. And then we listened to an hour of my music." I just hope he listened to Views by now, the dad. You know, because lot was said.
I was like, "Oh, what's your favorite song?" And he's like, "Drake, man, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. My service is not too good out here, man. But that's like, I'm gonna get around to it, you know."
Dad, you ever heard the song I did where I sampled the beginning of that and then rapped over it? No. That's why I said when you said you sampled it, I was gonna say, well, you told me you were gonna do it.
Yeah. We got London on the track. This is all God's doing, man. You can't plan it. But if the devil's in the details, then I'm satanic. About to take over your city and you can't stand it.
Like your words up there that like kind of funky and weird.
The guys at our school, instead of addressing people like the group, like saying like, "What are you guys doing?" Say, "Man's like you." It's really weird. Yeah. So man's like you are going to that, and then just means like the group.
Crew. That's interesting.
It's not. It's really ignorant.
What about rude? That's rude.
It bugged me, man. It bugged me because it was like somebody I looked up to at one point. It was somebody that I was like, I used to see out and be like, yo, that's that nigga, you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. He opened for Jay. You know, he had records. He was killing them. He worked with Pharrell. He worked with the Clips.
Followers. When I grew up, I had the kids followed me. They followed my dress style. They followed the coolness, the way I walked. When I was in the war, I was a leader. I ain't never followed nobody. So these cliques, I could tell you things about people you named that the little Fruit Loops. They bend over billies. You cannot make it to the top in that industry without selling your soul.
Am I getting warm?
No. Sunday is Father's Day.
I thought you forgot.
No, I didn't forget. And I got you something extra special, Papa. You ready? Now hold on to something. Saturday night, I'm taking you to see B.B. King.
What? B.B. King? That B.B. King live at the Lucifer Club live? The Lucifer Club live? The Lucifer Club live.
You got it.
Oh, son, I don't know what to say.
Hollywood, I've never had anything to do with any kind of clique. I'm not a cliquish person.
Right.
I assume followers. When I grew up, I had the kids followed me. They followed my dress style. They followed the coolness, the way I walked. When I was in the war, I was a leader. I ain't never followed nobody. So these cliques, I could tell you things about people you named that the little Fruit Loops. They bend over billies. You cannot make it to the top in that industry without selling your soul. And then I got a phone call from Bud Yorkin, and he asked me if I wanted to do a series with Red Fox. So I've never been a part of any of that nonsense. I don't respect those people. I don't care about that. I'm, you know, I told you I had connections. Nobody was going to say nothing to me.
I get it. And it made me think when you just said kind of the comment about some of the people that we've known in the industry and what they might have to do to get to the top. Can you give me
all of them? All of them. You name your biggest black actors, you name your biggest white actors, you name your biggest female Latino actresses, they all have to do it.
And so you seen the orgies, you seen the people that was the stars and the shit that they was doing. In this clique, you know, we wife swap and all this kind of shit. You can fuck my wife and stand there and watch. I had the same principles that most men have until you put in certain situations. We all start with the principles. Depends on what you're facing. So I'm not the judge. But I remember with Flip, I'm staying in Malibu. I'm out of Jersey and New York, and you know the excitement of that. Now I'm in Malibu, and it's supposed to be the shit, but you know. But I didn't understand that. I'm with a black man that owns his house in Malibu. That's unheard of shit. Flip made it clear. He said, yeah, there's other black people here. Miles Davis is down the street. He's renting. So-and-so, he's renting. I own my shit. But I still didn't get it because I'm young. You know, it's like, this is some boring shit out here on Malibu, the white people left and right. What's going on? So Flip one day looked at me and said, oh, you want to see the shit, huh? I don't know what the shit is, but I want to see something other than Malibu. And he took me to the parties. He took me to the shit to make me understand this is why I don't be around this shit. And so you seen the orgies. You seen the people that was the stars and the shit that they was doing. And the smell.
The Illuminati is the occult organization that we belong to. It means the light bearers. The witch is called Mariah, the conquering wind.
Bent over on all fours. His ass was lit up like a Christmas tree. It was the scariest thing I ever seen in my life. I saw a woman tied up in the closet, looked like she was being beat with a whip. I saw men feeding each other grapes. I saw huge penises everywhere. I saw men sucking each other's penises. I saw dogs getting fucked in their asses. It was crazy. It was the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I was so scared that I ran so fast. I ran out of there. I've never ran that fast in my life. I've never ran that fast in my life. I got the fuck out of there.
First of all, say you and your smile.
Like your words up there that like kind of funky and weird.
The guys at our school, instead of addressing people like a group, like saying like, what are you guys doing? Say man's like you. It's really weird. Yeah, so man's like you are going to that, and then just means like a group.
Crew. That's interesting.
It's not. It's really ignorant.
What about rude? That's rude. It bugged me, man. It bugged me because it was like somebody I looked up to at one point. It was somebody that I was like, I used to see out and be like, yo, that's that nigga. You know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing. He opened for Jay. You know, he had records. He was killing them. He worked with Pharrell. He worked with the Clips.
He called out Drake for embellishing some of his lyrics about their lack of a relationship, but while the headline may be new, the story isn't. In an interview he did with the Memphis Flyer, they wrote, Graham says some of his son's lyrics in interviews paint an inaccurate picture of the relationship, but his son's voice is big and gets heard. Graham's voice does not.
In 2019, you think you're going to Drake's party, but get Dennis instead.
4 years is a huge favor. I think you should ask for more paper, and more paper, and more paper. I'm blaming you for heartless gambling addictions.
I think that's the worst part of getting depressive.
Get ready with me while Roy tell the story of the time that I thought I was going to an after party at Drake's, and it ended up being a party at his dad's house. So this was back in 2019. I would like to preface that I was an adult. I was 22 years old. My friends and I are not from LA. We went down and we were able to get like a table at one of like a larger club down in LA. Had fun. And then one of my friends ended up meeting some guy who was like, hey, we like your vibes. Again, we're like not from LA, so this is not like a normal situation from us. And we're like, oh my gosh, how cool. He's like, so there's an after party happening at Drake's house. Like, do you and your friends want to go? And we're like, obviously, like that. Yeah. Again, this is like not our normal scenes. We're like, for sure. One thing to note was that it was literally being televised that he was at some like basketball game in Canada, but we were like, he has a private plane. He can fly here quickly. Like, that's what's happening. So while we were in line, there was some like random like crazy man that was trying to like talk to us and was being real weird. And there was this private security guard who was helping like some celebrity who was there. And his name was Big Money. And Big Money, I know you follow me still. I love you so much. And he was like, hey, back up. And like was so sweet to us and was like very kind and protecting. But then was like, hey, let me get your number and like text me wherever you're going so I know that you're like getting there safe. Because we were clearly like not a part of this scene. Like this was like not our normal scenario that we're in. So our Uber pulls up and we pretty immediately are like, oh, Drake is not going to be at this party. There were like 15 people there. It was not super busy at all. And we're greeted by, it felt like out of a movie. It was this weird, creepy ass butler who was like probably even older than Dennis. Weird vibes. And they just kept like randomly like stopping and then like dancing and then continuing on with conversation. So just Dennis was there, which again, still not from this like area. I'm like, still pretty cool. Like, all right, like for the plot, let's see where this goes. Also, I'd like to preface that like, I'm not a victim. I just thought it was a crazy story. It was a very weird and like uncomfortable situation, but like once it got to the point where I was like, this is too much, me and my friends left. So we were really only there for like maybe 20 minutes. While we're there, he's just being super like handsy and weird. He said some like really strange comments, which that's kind of what started leading us to be like, okay, this guy's odd. And like clearly Drake's not coming. So like we feel like we saw what we needed to see and we're ready to go. One weird thing is there were photos of Drake everywhere. Like his entire wall is just like memorabilia of Drake, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, basically just like a weird, creepy old dude with his weird, creepy old butler. So we, after 20 minutes, are like, let's go. This is weird. There's like also not enough of us here for us to feel like super comfy. So we tried to call an Uber, but he lives like way up in the Hollywood Hills and there was like a security guard at the beginning of the neighborhood and they're like, oh, the security guard won't let us in. He's like, no joke, like a mile and a half up this road. And we're like, what the fuck? So we literally had to walk in the pitch black to get to our Uber because the security guard wouldn't be like letting our Uber in. No street lights at all. So we're walking, a group of, I think it was like 5 of us girls. And then all of a sudden we're walking and we see a car coming up from behind us and it slows down and it's the fucking butler. I don't know if I can cuss on here. And he's like, hey girls, you want to get in the car? Like, let me give you a ride. And we're like, no, thank you. And we like start running. This happens like 2 more times. He keeps like making his laps and like, we're the only ones walking on the street. Pitch black. So scary. Then all of a sudden we see a figure walking behind us and we're like, what? Like, what is that? So we start speeding up because we're like, that's so scary. Then the figure starts speeding up. We start running. The figure behind us starts running. So finally, one of my friends just stops and yells like, what's your problem? And we just hear this like sweet girl's voice. And she's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I was there and I was like getting kind of scared and freaked out. My friends didn't want to leave, so like I left. So it was just this girl walking down the street by herself, and she was trying to like keep up with another group of girls to like feel safe. And then we were like running away from her. So obviously she joined our group and we made sure that she got home safe. But yeah, that's really it. He was an odd dude and was saying weird things. I'm not going to get into it just because I'm like, I don't know what, I don't know. I'm like a little scared. But like nothing bad happened. I'm not a victim. It was just a crazy story. And it's like one of my favorite fun facts to be like, I peed in Dennis Graham's toilet. So, yeah. And then next time we went to LA, which was like only the second time we were out, saw Dennis again. So I think this is just kind of like his thing. And we were talking to someone about it and they're like, oh yeah, no, you never go to a party at Dennis's house. So I think it's just kind of like an LA thing that we were just not aware of. But yeah.
Brother, you're back. You know, I envy you your leisurely life as a poet here. It must be pleasant. I sometimes envy you as a swordsman. It's an exciting life. Maybe. But I'm getting tired of this way of living, though. One day soon, I'll give it up. Well, that's quite an idea. But why are you feeling like that?
question. Well, the tattoo on your chin, what does that signify?
Oh, it's an owl. It just means wisdom and knowledge and learning things.
Jordash? Sassoon? Buckwheat? Buckwheat cheese. Okay.
It has to do with their perception of vision, of what is clarity, and of Aries, Horus, ruling the brain and the eyes. Their belief that they can see things that others cannot because of their esoteric and exoteric information, their occult allegiances, and of course, their communing with spirits that some believe are their ancestors and others know full well are deceiving demonic beings. And the owl is symbolic of those who have this knowledge of the fallen. The fallen manipulated not only mankind's beliefs and philosophies, but mankind's genetics, the genetics of plants, and the genetics of animals. And it is my contention that the owl is one such animal, and this is why it is revered, and so unlike the other fowl species in a plethora of ways. But I had to really look at the different reasons why they revere the owl, or why they will say they revere the owl, and why they don't say. One is its nighttime capabilities. It's a nocturnal fowl, and its ability to see at night is only rivaled by its ability to see almost behind its back, its ability to turn its head. It was also the accompaniment of Lilith and Minerva and Athena. It is symbolic of Mother Goddess worship, and when you see the owl and the other symbols associated with the eyes and the vision of the elite, the Illuminati, they are bragging that they are able to see things and overstand things that you cannot, and you only understand and see from a lower level.
A very, very popular big band leader,
jazz
band, yeah, very famous. Played a lot in Montreal, Canada, Vancouver, the big cities.
Yo. Yo.
Embarrassing.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien. Wow. And Universal.
Honest, legitimate monetization of music with those businesses. Even more hits from Universal Music Group and the labels and all our A&R people creating them.
Drake has a rich baby daddy named Lucien.
So all of his streams and the number ones is controlled by someone named Lucien.
You know, everybody is very, very excited about the elimination of Drake. Not excited, we was energized.
I mean,
I'd like that debate to continue.
But what is it specifically about Drake that everyone hates? It's like, for everybody, all of the great, you, Weeknd, Pluto, Metro, Ross,
Kendrick. Yeah.
Like, there's something obviously wrong with this one individual that no one wants to speak about. My son, Lamont, that's my man. Your man. Yeah, my main man. Your main man. Look at that. I'm gonna see you later on. Look, we tight partners, man. Me and Lamont just like that.
4-hour show, right? I need to find a hot girl to come up here and twerks up. Bag that motherfucker up.
What's up?
Who ready to back that ass up?
Who gonna come back that ass up? What's up? Where the hot girls at?
Where little project at? I'm looking for, come on. Come your ass up here. When we work, what's up? You wanna come? Come on, yeah, come on. You too. When we working with, come on, it's cool. Yeah. Look, I'ma show you what type nigga I am, right? These niggas right here been bucking with me all night. I want y'all to come up here and fuck with me. Come on, let them niggas up here. Y'all 3, y'all 4, right? Yeah, all y'all come up here and fuck with a nigga. It's cool like that. You heard me?
I am not gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
What's up? Trey, what's wrong with her?
Come on,
Fuck that.
You wanna come up here? You gonna shake it?
Look.
Come on, get on right here. Dugay, get on right there.
It's cool. I can take 2 of y'all.
Get on right.
It's cool. I can take 2 of y'all.
Get on right there.
You and you, come on, y'all come up.
Y'all bullshit.
Black, get them up here. They been bucking with a nigga all night. I fuck with niggas too. I fuck with niggas too.
You go to prison, the most important thing in your life is going to be booty.
Y'all better listen to
a man's butt. Booty, getting some booty is more important than eating food. It's more important than drinking water. If I see a man I like, I tell him like this here. I like you, and I want you. Now, we can do this the easy way, or we can do it the hard way. The choice is yours. What's it gonna be? I ask you a question, Tom.
What's up? Don't fuck with me.
We need a couple of more, man.
All right, I'm gonna pay you $20 to beat this bitch up right there.
We need a couple of more. Right there.
I need somebody to take that to the hotel.
Don't fuck with me. I'll make the whole crowd with your ass. Who won't make some money? Which one of these women won't make some money?
Yeah, that's cool. That's it. I need one more. Him too. Yeah,
I want y'all to beat this hoe up for
him
me.
Too. That's it. That's it. And my dude right there, dog. Say, Ducky. And dude right there with the blue hat on.
Wait, man, we need some more chicks up here. What the fuck is going on?
Baby, they want to see the girl. They got to show.
They want to see the.
Yeah. I ain't tripping. I put all this in my mouth for a reason. I got 100 plus. I got 15 carats. You understand? You won't see them. They big and they swole.
So when you kiss, I gotta ask, ladies. I got y'all up here. So when you kiss the girl, right?
Hey, I'm not a person he kiss.
I got y'all up here. So when you kiss the girl, right?
Hey, I'm not a person he kiss. That's how I roll. That's nobody else, man. We roll like that.
Now.
Ain't no freak. We just roll like that. That's my son. I raised him, you heard?
I'm gonna leave that one alone. Manny.
Yes,
what's up, Manny?
What's up?
Everybody wants to know what you mean when you call your homies your baby or your hubby, your lover. Can you just set the record straight?
It's a language. There's nothing stupid or fruity going on. It's the way we talk. It's the way we live. Those are my babes, those my lovers, those my hubbies, whatever you want to call it.
Is it strategic at all, to get people talking about you? Because you are somewhat of a new artist. So is it strategic to be controversial?
However, I don't know. I don't know a yes or no to that. That's a hard question.
Okay. Now, you're definitely running shit right now. Your music is some of the hottest out. Who are some of the people that you work with that we might not know about yet? What collaborations do we have to look forward to?
Gotti, Wayne, Boosie, Bird.
You will definitely be upset. You'll definitely be upset because you'll be outstudied, motherfucker. Nigga, start working out, though. Just start, get in the gym, though, nigga. You know, so I ain't gotta work out, nigga. But you know something? My thumbs are so strong with carrying all that paper. But yo, hold on, tell you. Now, let me stop. We gotta do this. Do our work. Do our work. If you ain't have enough style to give me a pair of Reeboks, I asked you for a pair of Reeboks today. You ain't got no clip. It's fresh. You ain't even hooked me up. You'll have no thing for a boxer. Hey, yo, check this out. This is Diddy. It's that boy they call Diddy. I'm here in the biggest. This is just a play around mansion. Believe that. This boy is really for real. He's number one son. I gave it for him. I got past it to him. You know what I'm saying? I was the number one son. I'm like a superior son now. You know, I'm gonna graduate to my master's degree at science. And he's the number one. He's the one that's, you know how you have. I'm like Kennedy. You feel me? And he like Clinton. I was the president for shit. Yeah, man. That's OG now. I'm just but at the end of the day, we in the Thorn one, and then we in his mansion. It's one of many. He own the whole motherfucking block. God damn. Yo, tell us our Cash Money Bad Boy, and we won't stop. Yeah. We'll see y'all at the club.
Yeah. Big time is doing big things up in here. Hood Rich Style, Art Rec on the 1s and 2s, Trap City the basement. Now the out.
No, it's the hood basement.
Oh yeah, the hood basement.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of these people on here. Who's on the album with you?
I mean,
me, Manny, Fresh,
Byron.
Yeah, Byron, Manny, Fresh Manny,
Huggy, all his nicknames.
Right. Blackstone, Mickey.
Trick Daddy on one of them.
Right.
That's our dog for life, you know what I'm saying? So Trick got down with us.
Right.
You know, in our family, Mickey, Wayne, you know, and the Cash Money family, the way we all, you know, the way we always roll.
Jazzy Faith.
Oh yeah, and Jazzy.
Oh, Jay Fizzle for Rizzle. Jay Fizzle.
Jay
Fizzle.
Okay.
I got my son right here. Okay. Special delivery too. He was a special delivery.
You alright?
Yes, sir.
Big Lack.
How you doing, Wayne?
Big Stone. Everything good?
My bad.
Got the whole family here. Now wait, tell me about the wipe it down.
I mean, we just fly, dog, so we feel like, you know, it's big pepper, big thing, so we wipe each other down. Instead of giving that, we just keep it fly, you know what I'm saying?
Wipe them down.
That's how we feel.
That's the new the new craze. You gotta wipe them down, you heard?
We fly like
Wayne
that.
out next.
Yep.
Oh yeah, sir.
How you been, man?
I'm good.
500 degrees, that's the name of that.
500 degrees.
Yeah.
That's right.
100 above the folk.
Let's go with that. Hey man, y'all don't go nowhere. We are coming back and going in the booth in a couple minutes. We got the whole Cash Money clique up in here doing it Hood Rich style. Album and stores. You like which one? That one? Which one you like, man? Pick one. All right.
On my motherfucking rich gang and shit. And you niggas keep trying to test me. Y'all keep trying to test me. Keep trying to see if I'm under the five and shit. But anyway, y'all was on Media Takeout on World Star and shit. Yeah, Birdman fucked me. He fucked me in the ass for the deal. I'm gonna be real. Birdman fucked me for the deal.
I guess the last thing that, you know, people, Trick Daddy was throwing shots saying, you know, Birdman doesn't know if he's a blood or a Crip or this, you know, this gay thing and that gay thing.
What do you mean? I don't understand.
He was saying that you was gay.
Come on, man. Come on, man. I'm a straight gangster, man. That nigga been in my hood. He know what's happening with me. You hear me? Nigga know what's happening with me, man.
Yeah.
I guess nigga get on the radio and won't be funny or something. But
Right.
Nigga know what's happening with me, man. Google me, man. Call anything in the 504 and ask about me. Google me, man. Watch what come up.
Yeah.
Straight G.
And you come from a long line of pimps and gangsters, too.
Man, straight G, man. Straight gangster. I don't know how to be nothing but that. I'm just a hustler. I'm a mastermind. I know how to use my brain and organize a lot of shit and make a lot of money and sell a lot of records. That's one of my gifts.
Right.
Everything I touch gonna be something.
So, I guess that brings up the biopic. Next is the next business endeavor that we've heard. I mean, you have your music, and we're going to get to that. And you done dropped a couple of records. You dropped Fuck 'Em, which is obviously a shot at everybody who got something to say.
I'm just sick of these pussy niggas playing with my name, man. Put some respect on my motherfucking name, man, or don't put it in your mouth, man. And I mean that, man. I'm tired of talking. Ain't no more talking, man. They gonna find a way to respect me. So you got a nigga might have an opinion, say their opinion, and you ain't gonna hear that shit. You understand? Even with Ross and the Trick, they had their opinion. They said that shit one time. You ain't gonna keep hearing that shit. But this nigga on the radio station, he been playing with me for like 3-4 years, constantly playing with my name, man. Find you somebody to play with, man. That's all I'm saying. And I ain't trying to discredit that, man. You understand me? A black man making money feeding his family. I ain't trying to get purse off him or nothing. He a radio nigga. He ain't about that. And I get that. And I ain't come about that. I'm just asking you as a man, man. I don't know if you think I'm sweet or something or got me fucked up. Just keep my name out your mouth with the bullshit, man. And I ain't trying to be, this dude I can't get no purse off this man. I ain't trying to get no purse off this man. But all I'm asking you, I don't even know this man, honestly. I never met him in my life. That was my first time meeting him, ever seeing him in my 2 eyes. You understand me? Hey, man, put some respect on my...
This happened to us. Stuff like this happens to us all the time, Granddad.
We're done for. Why gays? Why couldn't it have been Mexicans or Indians from India?
Everyone makes fun of them.
Now, Granddad, before you go crazy, let me explain.
Yes, please explain yourself, grandson. The video was deceivingly edited. This is all just some crazy misunderstanding, right?
But it really was gay.
Oh, no, that's your explanation? Do you know what you've done to us? We're doomed. We'll be blacklisted in Hollywood. Now, I'll never host the Oscars.
But it was gay. Why should I have to apologize? I saw gay, so I said gay. That ain't bullying. That's an astute observation. Did the laws of the universe change and nobody told me niggas gotta apologize for being right?
I'm going to get my belt and change the laws of the universe on your narrow behind. I know that.
If I'm not allowed to call gay stuff gay, then what am I supposed to call it? What's the okay word for gay?
You call it nothing. From now on, you see something gay, I don't care how gay it is. It could be gayer than a San Francisco butt plug convention. You look the other way. If it's gay, look the other way.
North. On yesterday, we had a historical thing that happened in the city of Birmingham. They call it historical, you know, made history and all that kind of stuff. But I'm here this morning to talk about another history. To me, yesterday was one of the most bizarre scenes I ever seen in this city. One of the most comedic scenes I ever witnessed in public. When I witnessed men with size 13, 14 shoes out there kissing each other in the mouth in front of little kids. It was just bizarre. It was like a freak scene going on. That's what I call it. Now, I know about the government and laws being made, but I got a law this morning that came out of Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 31. And it says, shall a man leave his mother and father and join to his wife, and they shall become one. And to have your kids out there yesterday, 6, 7 years old, holding flags, the Bible said, provoke not your children to wrath. Proverbs 22 and verse 6, 7. Train up a child in the right way he should go. And when he get old, he wouldn't depart. I'm so delighted and honored that God would have me bold enough to stand here and talk about this issue. Well, all the preachers was yesterday. You know what I mean? The only time gonna make them come out them doors when they stop them tithes and offering in your church. And you can't have men's day no more, and youth day and women's day. I bet you're gonna have a sign in your hand with Brother Ed then. You're gonna be standing in front of the White House then. No, y'all gotta leave us alone. You know what I mean? But somebody should have stood up yesterday. Ain't it funny? Everybody got a right but the Christian. So I'm here this morning to talk about my right. Because I got a right too. I can barely say praise the Lord in public now. I might go to jail. I might threaten a lawsuit on the job. You can't tell a person to have a blessed day. Ain't it sad? Y'all, I got a text this morning. Going to share it with you. I'm getting on out here. I got a text all the way from Washington, D.C. And I'm going to go and break the news to y'all. And y'all in the back of me also. In 2 more years, in 2016, February the 9th, you won't be able to marry your partner that you play football with no more. You're going to be able to marry your dog. You're going to be able to marry your cat. You're going to be able to marry your snake. You're going to be able to marry your rat, your roaches. Some of y'all been with the roaches so long, you might well go and marry the roach. You've been around your house so long, you're going to be able to marry your broom, your mop. Ain't we going crazy in this world, y'all? Ain't we going crazy? I know Alabama made a lot of money yesterday. I know somebody else made a lot of money too. Duracell ain't got no batteries on the shelf this morning. All the batteries gone. I tried to find a battery for my radio this morning. Couldn't find them nowhere. I said, what happened? They said, Rev, they bought all the batteries last night. They celebrated some kind of way. Just bought all the batteries. I don't know what they do to the batteries. Don't ask me that. I'm a preacher. I don't go there. You know what I mean? I don't know what they did with all the batteries. Now, Mr. Mayor, don't stop me in the hallway, you and your security team, and tell me I can't come here talking like I talk. Because you got a political job to do, I got a biblical job to do. And I'm going to do mine and you do yours. I'm going to stay in my lane and you stay in yours. I ain't bought by nobody. If I have to die doing what I'm going to do, I'm just fine. Y'all remember Peter and Paul and Silas were thrown in jail? I'm getting out of here, Mr. Don't you push that button. You remember Paul and Silas were thrown in jail? You remember the 3 Hebrew boys were thrown in the fiery furnace? You remember Daniel was thrown in the lion's den? They didn't say when he show up or if he show up. They said we know he going to show up. Why we scared today, preachers?
Your time.
Everybody coming out the closet but the saints. When we going to come out the closet?